Welcome to another episode of Me, My Wife, and Sports. I'm your host, Fitz, with my lovely co-host, Darcy.
Hi.
Well, Darcy, the Olympics is in full swing. We've been watching it for the past several days. Some surprises and some that are not. But before we get into that, I want to address a couple of things beforehand. And one is Jordan Love of the Packers, the NFL Packers. He agreed to a 4-year, $220 million contract that makes him the highest paid quarterback in NFL history as of today, which we know all that can change. He gets a record $75 million signing bonus plus $155 million in full guarantees, new full guarantees. So interesting. It's just getting outrageous. So that means that prices.
Why is that interesting?
Because it seems like it's just going higher and higher no matter what the inflation is or whatever. And all that cost is going to go on to the consumer, meaning instead of now for a beer, you're paying $12, you're going to pay $24. So, you want to keep playing. And I get it. The players go get what they can because if the owners can pay them that much, they raking in big money themselves. All right. On to the Olympics. Did you know that there are 68 foreign NBA players that are playing in the Olympics right now? So that's a lot of foreigners that we have on the NBA team. And a fun fact for the Olympics, did you know Gronk's great-grandfather competed in the Paris Olympics 100 years ago? He did. He was like a bicyclist.
His great-grandfather. His great-grandfather. 100 years ago?
100 years ago. And I don't think he's still alive, but if he was still alive, he would probably be 100.
He has to be more
plus.
than 100.
That's what I say, 100 plus. But yes.
He's probably not still alive.
Probably not, but you never know. Never know. Now, have you heard of Germany's basketball player, Dennis Schroeder? Have you ever heard?
No.
Well, he's a black German, and as they call it, he was saying being dark-skinned in Germany has been tough, not only from a sports stance, but also just in general. So he talks about that a little bit on an interview that was done. But you just still got a lot of prejudice, not only here in America with different races, colors, and creed, but the same in foreign countries, even amongst themselves. So you've been watching Olympics. What's your biggest?
Well, the opening, let's start with the opening.
Okay.
Let's start at the beginning. Because you just be all over the place.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. So the opening ceremony was really good. And it was definitely, I think, everything that they promised it would be.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The only thing that really ruined it was the rain, but that really didn't seem to ruin it for the athletes out there on the boats and everything.
Right.
So I thought that was pretty cool the way they did that.
As long as they didn't fall in the Seine River, which to me...
they say it's algae E. coli free, so...
Yeah, so they say...
tested the water.
So it happened to be E. coli free once the games started. I think the day before,
how much chemical would you have to put in that stuff to make it E. coli free? You'd have to clean the whole river. Like, you can't just clean the section that they were swimming in.
If you saw the whole highlights, they were pulling
bikes,
everything
and scooters
out of the river.
Oh.
And they said they've been working on this for 5 years.
That's crazy. I mean, the stuff they was pulling out of there, that was just...
I was waiting for a body to come out.
I was wondering if the swimmers, they probably didn't watch it. They probably we don't want to see it.
Right.
It's like, we don't want to know how the sausage is made. Just give me the sausage. Because if they had to see that, there's no way they could have got it there. Because that water's all in your mouth. Oh, it was horrible.
Hey, they probably done worse.
The opening ceremonies, the lighting of the torch, the people carrying the torch, all of that was just phenomenal. So
it was.
Good job to Paris and the IOC and everybody that put all that together. They have really raised the bar for Milan for the Winter Olympics in 2026, and then LA.
Was that 2028?
In 2028. LA is 2028, the next Summer Olympics.
That's going to be a hard intro to beat.
Yeah, I don't even know what.
Because I think that's the best one I've seen in all the Olympics.
That was probably the best
one. China was good, but that one, it was different.
That was definitely different with the guy with the mask that was carrying the torch and zip lining.
Right.
And I like Lady Gaga's performance.
Yeah. Celine Dion was good.
Celine Dion was good. It was good to see her.
Yeah.
It held your attention because you just didn't know what was coming next. So that's what I liked most about it, was that it definitely kept your attention. Over 10,000 athletes, over 200 countries participating.
Right. Now, have you been keeping track of the medals?
No. I know that China is leading with the gold.
Correct.
Yeah, but
I was looking at the breakdown they had for the different sports as well as the individuals. And Katie Ledecky, who won her bronze back on July 27th for the 400-meter freestyle. So, again, she's the most highly decorated athlete that's currently still participating in the Olympics as well as not participating in the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
And they still got a few more swimming competitions, which I'm sure she's going to medal on that as well.
The Americans, the USA, we sent, 596 athletes.
Mm-hmm.
The last time it was in Paris, we sent 299. Of course, that was 100 years ago.
Yeah, right.
The oldest athlete, you know who that is?
Who?
No. He's a equestrian, 59-year-old American equestrian participating. And then, of course, the youngest is a 16. For us, we have a 16-year-old gymnast, and I think there's a 16-year-old swimmer as well. I don't know. I think he might have turned 17, but I think the gymnast is definitely 16 years old.
Oh, okay.
85 boats carrying all the athletes. 85 boats. Some of those boats were little.
Right. For some teams had their own personalized boats.
Yeah. But some of those boats was little and they was rocking.
Well, you got these.
And then the boat that the U.S. was on, all 596 people, it looked like that should have been 2 boats.
Right. That's a lot of people on one boat.
That looked like a Tom Joyner cruise.
Now, and this is as of today, this morning, and it might have changed just a little bit. But for the most part, the U.S., this is just a little breakdown events of our medal standing. In diving, 1 silver medal. In swimming, we had 3 gold, 8 silver, 6 bronze, for a total of 17 medals. Road cycling, we have 1 bronze. Mountain bike, 1 bronze. Now, are they going through a mountainous area? And I just don't get mountain bike. Fencing, we have 3 medals, 1 gold, 1 silver. And we were watching that gold and silver match. It was the U.S. against the U.S.
Yeah, they went 1 and 2.
And 1 bronze. Skateboarding, we have 1 silver, 1 bronze. And Artistic gymnastics, we have 1 gold, and you probably know who that is.
That's the team gold.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
The U.S. team gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they haven't done the individual
yet.
Is today.
Today, right.
At 12:15.
Artistic gymnastics, not artistic, but rugby. The U.S. won a bronze, and that's the first time ever medaling.
That was pretty
rugby.
Interesting to watch rugby.
It was. I need to study up on the rules.
Yeah.
I found it very interesting. Some of those women I wouldn't want to see in a dark alley.
I like fencing too, though.
Yes.
Fencing was interesting. What interests me about fencing was the use of the computers and how they have the vests and the.
Well, if they had to rely on
the fencing
human
thing
to score it.
But at some point they did.
Well, looking at
back in the day.
Well, yeah.
They didn't have a computer saying who touched who first.
And they probably wasn't as quick either as they are now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what has changed, but it would be interesting to see a documentary on the evolution of fencing through the years and how it has arrived.
I'm sure it's one out there. Just got to find
where it is today. What I also found interesting is because Russia has been banned from the games because of the war with the Ukraine, they have 2 different categories of participants. So you have AIN, you'll see AIN, and I guess it's not a flag, but that symbol, and that stands for individual neutral athletes. The AIN is the European arrangement, but it means individual neutral athletes. And that's where the Belarus and Russian athletes are participating under that. And then some of them, there's another category for, it's called the Refugee Olympic Team.
Now, do they either one have a flag or?
Well, it's not a flag. It's not a flag per se. But they have something
emblem.
They have something that symbolizes that says AIN, and then the Refugee Olympic Team, I think is ORT is the way the designation is.
Who does that consist of?
And that's the displaced persons from Iraq, Iran, Cameroon. Just if you've been displaced, you can compete under that designation.
I wonder how you trial for that, because do you go to a central location?
It's all controlled by the IOC, and they're just a powerhouse, the IOC is. But they never have had those 2 categories in the past. So I found that very interesting this time too, AIN and the refugee team.
Have you looked at any of the newer, because I don't know if the breakdancing.
I don't think it started yet.
Okay.
I don't think the breakdancing has started yet.
Or track and field.
Track and field hasn't started. Well, today was the start of, they call that the athletics. So if you're looking for track and field events, it's not going to say track and field.
Right.
It's going to say athletics.
Right.
And that's a change. So, and I guess maybe because it's more to, but everything was always either you was on the track or you was on the field, like if you were doing a shot put or but I guess they've changed that as well. So it's called athletics now.
And for our listeners, by the time you hear this podcast, there'll be track and field would be on the way, and many races would have been run, because you will get this sometime next week. All right.
Our shows are what?
Once a week, and it varies.
Yeah, posting is like 3 or 4 days delayed.
Yes.
So just so you guys know.
Yes. Now, Darcy, if they had track and field or Olympics for senior citizens, and we take some of the current sports and sort of rearrange them, what would some of those sports be?
I don't know. What do you have?
Well, like for gymnastics, I was thinking maybe it'd be like a hula hoop competition, for the elderly, because they had that floor exercise where they had the hoop and other
They don't use that anymore, but I get what you're saying.
Oh, I didn't know.
You haven't seen them with that on the dance exercise.
I haven't paid any attention to all of them.
With the floor exercise.
Yeah. Now, table tennis, they can use paddle ball, stationary on a ball.
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
Now, for synchronized swimming, I would say water aerobics for the senior citizens.
The Senior Olympics.
Yeah. And what they consider?
See, we laughing, but it's gonna come up.
What do they make consider you a senior once you get your AARP?
55. Is it 55 or is it 50?
Is it 50? I was thinking
it's 50.
Yeah, because I was thinking like for handball that they do, maybe the seniors can have dodgeball. It might be a little slow, but
it'd be real slow.
Well, not necessarily, because even in the 50s, people are still pretty active. Yeah.
But watch, they have senior golf tournament. Right. They got senior everything.
Well, I was even thinking like for the
they're gonna have a senior Olympics
for the javelin throw, frisbee toss. But those are some of the ideas and thoughts I had. What about you? Did you have any?
No.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have any. I think you took them all.
Sure. Blame it on me.
I said for floor exercise, I said line dance and marathon. Oh, people like the line dance.
Do they?
Oh, yeah.
Or when you say line dance, that could be like the Cupid Shuffle. It could be the two-step.
It could be what's the other one? Electric slide. It could be.
Well, hell, they got break dancing.
The country one. I can't think of the name of it, but the country music has a bunch of line dances.
Yeah.
So we could get. I mean, you can include everybody in that one.
That's funny. I was watching archery this morning, and I found that kind of interesting. Just sitting there watching them pull that arrow to try to hit their mark. And I mean, they hold it for a long time, in my opinion, and the strain you can see on them.
Well, and they have it, the way they have it on their face, like they have that line, the drawstring on their face.
Some have it, like the one guy I was watching, he had it on his chin and front lip. And I was like, dang, that gotta sting a little bit when he releases it.
You would think. So we've done really well in swimming.
Yes.
Swimming has been very interesting. And, congratulations to France and the young man.
And France has been doing pretty good for hosting the games. They've been doing pretty good for themselves.
Who won the 400. He won the 400 freestyle, I believe. He's trained by Michael Phelps.
Old coach.
Yeah. So that coach's stock just went up big time.
Right.
If you need a swimming coach for your kids, call him.
If you can afford him.
Who is Katie Ledecky?
Oh, yeah, she's killing it.
From the DMV. Shout out to all of our DMV athletes who are doing it. Katie Ledecky, Tori Husk.
Speaking of the swimming,
that's her name.
I just read that there's a reason why they haven't had too many breaking records in the Olympics in the swimming. I think it's only one Olympic record that's been broken so far. World records are far and few between. And basically, it's the amount of water that's in the pool or the depth of the pool. And in this case, I want to say it's 2.1 kilometers deep. And now they have a rule in the Olympics where the depth has to be at a minimum of 2.5. And they say the more the water or the deeper the depth, the better for the swimmers. They don't have so many waves that are slowing their swimming down. So
the deeper the pool, the less waves.
Correct.
So why is that causing less Olympic records?
Because it's more waves because the pool is not that deep. This pool is not that deep. It's only 2.1 kilometers, I think.
Oh, and it's supposed to be...
Well, the new rule is, and this was after they built this one, the new rule is at a minimum, it got to be 2.5. Previous Olympics, it's been 3.1, 3 point whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this one is not as deep.
Correct.
And because it's not as deep, it's causing more waves, and
Correct.
the waves are slowing the swimmers down.
Correct. Because they also mentioned that they have camera equipment and everything in the pools.
So you can see the camera equipment.
Which adds to the problem as well. So, so the deeper they have it, the better.
Yeah, you can see the camera equipment and you can see the camera moving with the swimmers and everything. So, yeah.
You know, one thing I found out, which I didn't realize watching the men's basketball, is that they're playing with international rules, meaning that they can touch the ball once it's on the rim and coming out. They don't have to wait for it to clear the cylinder, which I found kind of interesting because in NBA, you can't touch it while it's still in the cylinder.
Interesting.
Yeah. As long as it's indicating that it's coming out, not going in, you can't touch it, of course. But say if they shoot and it's on the rim and getting ready to come off, you can grab it before it actually comes off.
So the men are in first place. I don't know what place the women are in basketball, talking about basketball.
Well, the women haven't lost, so...
Right. I think they only played one game, though.
I thought they played 2 or 3.
Maybe
those are preliminary games.
I don't think they played that many
Okay.
yet. The men's gymnastic team, they took bronze in the all-around.
Yeah.
I mean, in the team competition, they didn't do well in the all-around. They had the individual all-around competition yesterday, and they didn't do too well. But they did. They're young. They're gelling as a team, and they did win bronze. So they are to be celebrated and commended for what they have accomplished. So, and since the U.S. men's team hasn't won in 16 years, I think they should just concentrate on riding that win and not worrying about individual. They won as a team. They broke the dry spell for the men's gymnastics team, and congratulations to all of the men who participated in that win. So, and
the women basketball team should be playing right now as we speak against Germany. So hopefully they'll do well. And
it's been interesting. I was
because they beat Japan 102.
Yeah, they beat Japan
to 76.
I was reading online because we watched a little bit of boxing.
Right.
And that was interesting. But this is really crazy. So women's boxing, the Italy's female boxer, what's her first name? Angela Carini. She quit her match 46 seconds into her round of 16 after her Algerian component landed one punch. She just quit.
I guess that punch hurt.
And she said, and so what has come into question now is a gender eligibility test. And so they're saying that last year, the Algerian that she was playing that landed that one punch was disqualified from the Women's World Championship for failing a gender eligibility test.
What is a gender? What do they tell you? Drop your drawers?
I have no idea.
And if you got the wrong instrument, you got to go to that team?
I have no idea. And they said the IBA, which is, I'm assuming...
International Boxing Association.
That's what I'm assuming.
Yep.
Yes, International Boxing Association did not specify why the boxer failed the gender eligibility test, but did clarify that they underwent testosterone examinations.
Oh, interesting.
And so it's 2 of them. It was one from Taiwan and one from Algeria. And this was at the World Championships.
Yeah, I think I remember reading on that one from Taiwan because I remember looking at something not too long ago about a gender test. The person was disqualified, but they qualified for the Olympics.
But they said neither one of these women from Algeria, the one from Algeria or the one from Taiwan, identify as transgender or intersex. I don't even know what intersex is. So that is interesting. I don't know. It's going to be real interesting. 2028 in LA. LA won the bid to host the Olympics.
Correct.
I'm not sure that it's all a done deal yet, because the World Anti-Doping Association and the U.S. Anti-Doping Association are not on the same page. And they say they are, but they still have some differences. They might be on the same page, they're not in the same paragraph. And so they got to get in the same paragraph before we know for sure that this thing with LA is a go and is actually going to be held in the U.S. because
I thought it was a done deal.
Well, but see, this is the behind the scenes, the in the weeds things that are going on with the IOC right now and the anti-doping associations, the world and the U.S. The U.S. is still mad about the whole China team being that whole incident with China swimmers saying that those drugs, those performance enhancing drugs were in their system because of food that they ate at a hotel.
You're right.
So that
which is still kind of hard.
Right. The U.S. is still having a hard time with that. And so the IOC has said the U.S. has to get on board and basically let it go. Basically, if you want to hold the Olympics, you got to let it go because the World Anti-Doping Association is the governing body for the Olympics. And if you're not going to abide by their rules, then we can't allow the Olympics to be held in the U.S. So that's a controversy that's being worked out. Now, if this thing right here, if this gets any legs with these two athletes, these gender tests, if that gets any legs and the U.S. gets a hold of that, we could see the Summer Olympics go someplace else because I just think that the U.S. is not going to bow down and change their standards.
I don't think it's a fact of the U.S. changing their standards because I would think all countries involved go by the governing body and the rules and regulations of the IOC and not by the individual countries.
Well, exactly. But the U.S. has its own anti-doping association.
Right.
And that's the problem is their anti-doping association and the World Anti-Doping Association are not in agreement about the way the whole China thing was handled. And until they either agree to it or they just let it go, that's the real issue.
Yeah.
Because U.S. athletes are saying, well, if they're going to be allowed to have those drugs in their systems, why can't we have those drugs in our system?
Right, right.
So that's the big question. So
what happened with this Olympics then? Did they just sort of shelve it for now?
Well, it didn't come up until this Olympics. Okay. It happened during the world competition. And that's when it came out. And so it was right before. So that, and then the WADA cleared them, but then everybody else was like, well, wait a minute. Why are you clearing them to compete when the story just doesn't make sense?
Well, so there's an article here that I'm looking at. A guy named Quinn, he's a Canadian non-binary footballer, has also been chosen to represent his nation in the Olympic Games. The midfielder, who plays for Toronto, has always competed in female categories. So I don't think this person competed in this Olympics that's going on now. But that would be a huge advantage, I would think.
I definitely see we were joking about the Senior Olympics, but I definitely see something like a transgender Olympics or something for the LGBTQ plus community where they can just compete.
Right.
I see that happening. I definitely see that happening. So it's a lot of backstories to the Olympics. We just hear about the winning and the medals and all of that stuff, but the politics of the Olympics is very, very interesting.
I'm sure. And Fitz's spin I guarantee most of these countries that host the Olympics are greasing some skids somewhere. And we know the IOC body isn't the most up and up governing body. They have their history as well.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. I'm ready for track and field to get started. The gymnastics was good. That was interesting. Simone, I'll be interested to see what Simone and Suni Lee. I kind of had hoped that Jordan Childs would have been in the all-around competition.
Right. You just like her. She's so
I like
flamboyant.
her personality. I like her personality. I really do.
Yeah, she's real upbeat.
Yeah, she's definitely...
She's the hype man for the team.
She definitely is the hype man. And I read something the other day where she was thinking about, after the last Olympics, I think they said she was thinking about quitting. She wasn't feeling good about her performance or something. Yeah. And Simone called her, or maybe it wasn't the last Olympics, maybe it was the one before that. Mm-hmm. But at some point, Jordan Childs was thinking about quitting. Simone called her, told her to come to the gym that Simone owns. So the gym where Simone trains is a gym that she owns. Mm-hmm. And so Jordan moved to Texas to work out in that gym with Simone. And that it has been what has kept her in gymnastics for these last couple of years. So I think today should be the last of gymnastics with the women.
Yeah.
And then we move into track and field and break dancing or breaking or whatever they call it. We saw the walk run, which was interesting this morning.
Very much so.
And then basketball will finish out. And then that'll be a wrap on the 2024 Olympics.
Well, a lot more to come. So you guys stay tuned. If you have questions, comments, or just want to say, hey, you can reach us at memywifeandsports@yahoo.com. Again, memywifeandsports@yahoo.com. Any final thoughts before we sign off?
No, I mean, we just, we're watching like you all are watching. If you see anything interesting, send us an email, post it on the Facebook page, and we'll look into it. But go USA.
Hoorah.
And remember, your mate is a reflection of you.